rise and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Clinton Palmer presides.
Please be seated. May I remind the court that this is only a hearing. Our purpose here today is simply to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to hold the defendant over for trial by jury at a later date. Now, as such, I hope that we may be able to proceed with a minimum of delay. You may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. The government wishes to present ample evidence to prove that the defendant, Dusty Walker, conspired in an attempt to sabotage a United States defense installation near Mount Rushmore.
Then let's get on with it, shall we? Call your first witness.
The government would like to call Terry O'Connor to the stand.
What? Jake, what do I do?
You have no choice, Terry. You have to testify.
No, what do I say? I can't get
Just tell the truth. Just tell him everything you know.
But Jake...
Terry, the truth. We'll do the best with it. Come on. Trust me.
So help me God.
You may be seated.
Your Honor, before I begin questioning Ms. O'Connor, may I remind the court that she is a hostile witness. The government wouldn't usually call her to the stand, but her testimony has a direct bearing on the charges filed in this case.
I'll ask the witness to overlook her personal sympathies in the matter at hand and answer the questions truthfully and fully, as she has sworn to do. You may proceed.
Thank you. Ms. O'Connor, you are a singer, are you not?
Yes.
And you perform with the defendant, isn't that correct?
Yes.
You were recently in Keystone, South Dakota, to play a concert, I believe, at Mount Rushmore Amphitheater?
Yes, that's correct.
During your stay in Keystone, there was an attempt made to blow up a United States defense facility nearby. What do you know about the incident?
I only know what I read in the papers.
Well, then I assume you read your partner was arrested, charged with conspiracy and attempted sabotage.
That was not his fault. Now,
Your
Dusty
Honor,
has denied...
The witness will refrain from giving her opinion unless instructed to do otherwise.
Ms. O'Connor, did you happen to notice anything unusual in the defendant's hotel room on the night of the explosion? Well, perhaps an article of luggage you hadn't seen there before. Your Honor.
The witness will answer the question.
Yes.
Would you speak a little louder, please, Ms. O'Connor?
Yes, I saw a bag.
Did you happen to notice it prior to the day of the incident?
No, you don't understand. Dusty got a phone call.
Did you ask the defendant about it?
Yes.
Yes, what did he say?
That a delivery boy had brought it, a bell.
Is that all he said?
He didn't know about it.
I mean, weren't you even interested to ask the defendant what was inside the bag?
No, I wasn't.
Why not? Weren't you curious?
Because Dusty changed the subject.
Because he didn't want you to know that the satchel contained explosives. Isn't that correct?
Sustained.
Then the defendant changed the subject.
He wanted to play me a song that he recorded. We were on a vacation.
Oh, yes,
we were
I'm
doing a
sure he
concert.
was
We do
desperate
music
to give
together.
you a song and dance.
Your Honor, please.
Sustained. Let's stick to the facts, shall we?
Describe the satchel.
It was a canvas, green, satchel type of bag, duffel bag.
Would you explain to this court exactly what happened to it?
I don't know that. All
What
right,
did the defendant do with it?
I saw him walk out of the room, but he didn't know
The
what he
defendant
was
walked out of the
doing,
room with the
all right?
bag. Thank you, Miss O'Connor. No further questions, Your Honor.
The witness may
He got a phone call, you understand? He got a phone
Your
call
Honor.
from Elena. Elena's making him
The
do
witness
this.
answered my question. She is out of
It's a
order.
matter of mind control.
The witness will step down. You'll strike Ms. O'Connor's last remarks from the record. Call your next witness.
The government would like to call Robert Scorpio to the stand.
I would like to remind both sides in this case that the purpose of this hearing is to compile facts, not wild accusations and unfounded opinions. I trust that this witness has some hard evidence.
Well, Mr. Scorpio can verify that the defendant was seen walking down the street in Keystone with the satchel in question on the day of the incident.
Proceed.
Excuse me, Your Honor, but I have an urgent message for the witness.
Bloody hell. Give me 5 minutes.
Where are you going?
What's the meaning of this?
I don't think the witness has the luxury of deciding when he's going to testify.
Mr. Scorpio, I must have some explanation.
Look, I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I've got to leave.
Now, Mr. Scorpio, you say Shaun Donnelly intercepted a phone conversation between Dusty Walker and Elena Parsons.
That's correct.
Oh, did you have a court order to authorize the wiretap?
We did, and we can produce it if necessary.
What was the substance of the phone conversation?
Well, Elena played him some music and then told him to deliver a package.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Mr. Meyer, may I tell you this is not a trial. This is a preliminary hearing. I will allow the testimony. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Scorpio, you were in the town of Keystone near Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
What happened after the intercepted phone call?
My partner and I left our hotel and observed the defendant carrying a bag.
Just a moment. Will you tell us, please, if you see the person you're referring to in this courtroom?
I do. It is this man over here.
Well, let it be recorded that the witness indicated Dusty Walker, who is presently seated at the defendant's table. Can you describe the bag?
Yes, it was ordinary camping gear, just a small green bag.
And what did you observe about the defendant's movements?
He hitched a ride on an old pickup truck and then headed out of town towards the train station.
When did you see him next?
At the station, he was boarding the train.
Where was the defendant?
Well, according to my partner, he was on the train as it pulled out of the station.
Your Honor, the witness has apparently not seen anything. He's only reporting what other people have seen.
Your Honor, if the defense attorney will allow the witness to complete his statement, we will establish Robert Scorpio as an eyewitness.
Proceed.
My partner and I ran for the train. Now, I did manage to board the last carriage of the train, where I proceeded to move forward, where I observed the defendant jumping off the train.
He jumped off a moving train?
Yes, I endeavored to reach him, but he jumped off before I could do so.
And where was your partner at this time? On the train?
No. Back at the station, I had persuaded her to remain there. She did catch up with me later on.
How did she accomplish that?
She borrowed a horse, rode up alongside of the train, and boarded the last carriage.
When was that?
When I was trying to unchain the bomb, but perhaps I should go back a few minutes to when I found this bomb. It was chained, as I said, to the forward carriage around a brake handle. Now, it was encased in the bag that we had observed the defendant carrying down the street across the road from our hotel.
What did you do?
Well, I saw that the timer was ticking away. It was set for 4 minutes. I knew that within that distance there was an early warning station, roughly about that far ahead. There was no way to stop the train. It was clear to me at that point that the defendant had willfully and knowingly chained that bomb in
Objection,
place.
Your Honor.
And that it was
the witness
done.
is using language that is inflammatory and prejudicial. No basis in fact.
It has every basis on this case. That bomb went off,
Your
destroyed
Honor,
an entire...
objection. Your Honor, completely prejudicial. I ask Your Honor to instruct the witness to stick to the facts.
Your Honor, this witness is qualified as a demolitions expert, and as such, he is permitted to complete a statement uninterrupted.
He is not qualified to characterize the defendant's acts as knowingly and willful.
I will instruct the witness to allow the court to determine the willfulness and intent of the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor. You say, Mr. Scorpio, that the bomb went off. Did it destroy the early warning system?
It did not. My partner, although unable to defuse the bomb, managed to alter the timer in a manner that caused the bomb to explode prematurely.
Although this isn't relevant to the case, I'm sure the court would like to know where you and your partner were at the time of the explosion.
Off the train, we managed to disembark in time.
Let's be very clear about this point. You're sure you recognized the canvas bag with the bomb as the identical one you saw the defendant Dusty Walker carrying when he left the hotel?
Absolutely.
Without question.
Without the slightest question, sir.
We'll have a short recess before the defense cross-examines.
All rise. All rise.
Your Honor, we're ready to cross-examine.
You know, of course, that you are still under oath, Mr. Scorpio.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Scorpio, you said that you saw Dusty walking across the street with a bag.
That's right.
And you said it was, what, canvas?
Some sort of heavy cloth, yes.
How far away were you from him when you saw him carrying this canvas bag?
20, 25 yards.
No less?
Approximately that distance.
Well, let's take a look here. The back row of the courtroom. Would you say that that's less than 20, 25 yards?
I'd say that.
Let's take a look at the woman in the red hair.
Oh, Your Honor, I object to this line of questioning. It's irrelevant to the case at
Your
hand.
Honor, if you'll give me a chance, I will show the relevance.
Objection overruled. Proceed.
Well, let's have a look at the lady with the red hair. Can you see her purse? Please don't move your purse, ma'am. Thank you. Can you see her purse?
Yes.
Is it canvas or leather?
Well, I can't tell.
Are you telling me that you can't tell the difference between canvas or leather at a distance of even less than 20 or 25 yards?
Not under these circumstances. I mean, the Keystone situation was in full daylight.
How many seconds did you have to observe the bag?
3, maybe 4.
What kind of handle did it have?
I couldn't tell.
What kind of lock?
I don't know if it had a lock.
So much for your powers of observation, Mr. Scorpio.
Oh, really, Your Honor?
Save your argument for later, Mr. Fraser.
So, according to your testimony, you never actually saw Dusty Walker board the train. Is that correct?
That's right.
Only Anna Devane told you that he did.
Yes.
May I ask, Your Honor, that this line be disregarded as hearsay?
You may ask, but I remind you that this is not a trial. This is a preliminary hearing. Let's get on with it.
Mr. Scorpio, neither you nor Anna Devane ever actually saw Dusty plant the bomb. Is that right?
We didn't actually see him, no.
So then it is possible, and please keep in mind I'm using the word possible, that someone else could have done it.
There was nobody else on the train. It had to have been him.
Is it possible?
It's possible.
Thank you.
But frankly, not probable. Look, I didn't see Captain Cook discover Australia, but the country knows he did.
Your Honor.
The witness will leave the matter of judging the evidence to the court or be cited for contempt. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
You may step down.
Thank you.
Mr. Fraser?
I have here some depositions taken in Keystone, South Dakota.
Well, let's see.
What's going on here?
The government took some sworn statements from some people in South Dakota. As soon as the judge looks them over, we'll get to see what they are.
Is that going to work for us or against us?
Could work against us in a big way.
Terrific the way you tore Scorpio's testimony apart.
Now, let's remember, this is a hearing, not a trial.
Yeah, you know, you keep saying that. What does that mean?
It means no matter how much I tear apart the prosecution's case, if the judge believes that you planted that bomb, he is empowered to hold you for trial.
Here's a deposition from the conductor of the train, which establishes that the train was appropriated by unauthorized persons.
Yes, sir.
And here's one from the officers of the law in Keystone concerning the explosion itself. Well, its force and what could have been its potential for destroying the government defense facility.
Your Honor, I'm not being given an opportunity to cross-examine these witnesses.
Well, you can trust me to give proper weight to these matters. Now, look, you're going to have an opportunity to cross-examine if and when this case comes to court.
Of course, Your Honor. Thank you. I would if I might be permitted to call one or two defense witnesses.
If you can be brief.
I'll do my best. Call Dr. Tom Hardy, please.
Dr. Tom Hardy to the stand. You swear that your testimony is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
You may be seated.
Thank you.
Dr. Hardy?
Tom.
Well, we figured I would if I got worried. It's a good sign for us, no matter what Tom says.
Dr. Hardy, would you summarize the results of an experiment you performed with the defendant at the visitor's room at the Port Charles Police Department?
Well, I played a tape, an audio tape, in which Elena Parsons gave some orders to Dusty Walker. He did exactly as he was told. When I tried to stop him, he was adamant to follow out her orders until I turned off the tape recorder and I gave him a post-hypnotic suggestion to come out of it. When he did, he remembered nothing. No tape, no directions, nothing.
Your professional conclusion?
I am totally convinced that when Dusty was motivated by Elena's voice and the music on that tape at Mount Rushmore to put the bomb on the train, he was completely unaware of what he was doing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hardy.
This is the opening we want.
All right, Mr. Fraser. The witness is ready for you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Hardy, I only have one question. Isn't it true that a person under hypnosis cannot be induced to do something which is contrary to his natural inclination?
Well, I'd have to give you a qualified yes to your question.
No, please, doctor, I don't want to hear qualified. Is it yes or no?
Then I'd have to say yes. A person will not do anything contrary to his real self.
Thank you.
I redirect, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
If the subject in question did not quite understand what he's being prompted to do under hypnosis, mightn't he then carry out those orders?
He might.
Thank you, Dr. Hardy. You may step down.
Is that it, Mr. Myers?
No, Your Honor. I'd like to call one more witness. I'd like to call the defendant, Dusty Walker, to the stand. And after you lost your parents, what was your relationship with Elena Parsons?
She took care of me. She was my everything. I would have been lost without her.
Did you know that she was part of the DVX?
No.
Did you know when you were delivering that bomb to the train that it was part of a DVX plot?
I never delivered any bomb to any train.
Robert Scorpio testifies that he saw you with a satchel on a Devane places you on the train.
I wasn't there.
And that the satchel contained a time bomb.
I don't know anything about it.
You know the train blew up.
Well, I heard it blew up, but I had nothing to do with it.
So you knew nothing about the bomb?
No.
Elena didn't give you a note telling you to deliver the bomb. As a
No.
matter of fact, as far as you're concerned, you were never even on that train, isn't that right?
I swear.
Your Honor, I'd like to demonstrate, with your permission, just what Dr. Hardy observed in that visitor's room at the Port Charles Police Department.
Mr. Fraser, any objections?
We better stop this.
Not a good idea. It would look like you think it's valid and crucial. The judge might even allow it. Your Honor, there's no objection.
Proceed.
Hello. Hello, Dusty.
Yes, I'm listening.
Did the package arrive?
Yes.
And you know what to do with it?
Yes.
Well then, any last-minute questions?
No.
You know I'm counting on you.
I won't let you down.
Where are you going, Dusty?
To find the satchel.
Why?
I have to find the satchel.
All right. Relax. Come on. Just sit right back down for now. Dusty, sit down. That's it. You know anything about a bomb, Dusty?
No.
How about a timing device?
Yes. I'm supposed to start the timing device before the train leaves.
Why?
I don't know.
You know anything about an early warning device in the vicinity?
No.
That's enough.
Your Honor, I've only just begun.
I get the idea. How do you get him out of that?
Dr. Hardy.
Dusty. Dusty, it's me, Dr. Hardy. Can you hear me? Dusty. Come on, Dusty. Hey. Come on, Dusty. Snap out of it. Come on. Dusty? Are you okay?
All right, thanks. Tell us what just happened, Dusty.
What just happened?
Yeah, what just now happened.
You were asking me about my childhood, about how Elena raised me after my folks were killed.
Is that all?
No, you wanted to know if I had anything to do with the train or the bomb, and I told you that I didn't.
Did I mention anything about a timing device?
No, you didn't mention any timing device.
Are you quite sure?
Yeah.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Fraser,
No questions, except what I'll reserve for closing.
you may step down. We'll take a short recess before taking closing arguments.
All rise.
These are not mere bystanders. We have the expert testimony of seasoned agents, Shaun Donnelly, Anna Devane, and Robert Scorpio, not to mention sworn depositions of equally credible sources, which placed the defendant on the train with the bag that ultimately carried the bomb. The same bomb that Anna Devane, if she hadn't altered the timing device, would have caused irreparable damage to the early warning facility. National Security, Dusty Walker, was deeply involved. Well, as for the demonstration of the alleged hypnosis that Mr. Meyer staged with his client, Your Honor, it was good showmanship, deserves good reviews, could probably play very well on late-night television, but it didn't prove anything. Evidence taken under hypnosis may be admissible in court, but there's no law that says you have to believe it. I, for one, don't. Robert Scorpio, with all his experience, doesn't. He asked me, just before I began my rebuttal, the following question, which I now put to you. If the defendant didn't know there was a bomb or a timing device, why did he risk his neck by jumping off the train? And that's all. Thank you.
We'll take a short break before we hear the rebuttal for the defense.
All rise. Finally, Your Honor, the defense rests on 2 points. First, the flimsy, circumstantial nature of the evidence against my client. Anybody could have planted that bomb. It hasn't been proven, certainly not to my satisfaction, that the defendant was the only one capable of doing it.
Good job.
The second point is that although he may have been there, Your Honor, he was absolutely unaware of it. He was under a hypnotic trance. Even if he planted the bomb, he knew absolutely nothing of what it was. He didn't even know that an early warning system existed. Based on those 2 points, Your Honor, the government has just not shown probable cause. And even if Your Honor believes that they have, there was absolutely no criminal intent on the part of the defendant. I think that's obvious from what we saw here in the courtroom. I therefore urge Your Honor to drop all charges against my client. Thank you.
I will take a few minutes to consider.
What do you think? It's in the lap of the gods. Hey, how are you?
Fine.
I wonder if there's any word from Bobby.
I've made my decision. and I wish to commend Mr. Fraser and Mr. Scorpio for their efforts. Your evidence, though lacking in certain elements, as was pointed out by the most persistent counsel for the defense, nevertheless convinces me that the defendant probably was the one who planted the bomb on the train and set the timing device. Furthermore, I'm in agreement with the prosecutor that while evidence obtained under hypnosis is admissible, whether hypnosis itself is effective is not mandated by law. One may believe or not believe as he or she sees fit. In this case, I, for one, believe it. I'm convinced that the defendant did indeed act under the influence of hypnosis, was unaware of his acts or their consequences. Therefore, the government has not established intent on the part of the defendant to commit the crime cited in the complaint. I will not order him held for trial. However, I will recommend that Mr. Walker seek psychiatric treatment to help him overcome the effects of the hypnosis. This hearing is dismissed.
All right.
Round one.
Sounded like a TKO to me.
Only round one. This has come in from the Toledo police. They have a witness who saw Dusty around the building where Rush was murdered.
Well, round two coming up.
And this time, it could be murder.
You were brilliant. Correct.